It's all the above, best believe we do it better. I want the fame, the fortune, all the above. I want the checks, the moolah, all the above. From Philadelphia to New York, all the above. Man, tell them other stations they don't do it like us. I want the fame, the fortune, all the above. I want the checks, the moolah, all the above. From Philadelphia to New York, all the above. Man, tell them other stations they don't do it like us. What up?
It's your girl, Angel Marie from All of the Above, and I am joined here today by model and recording artist Shylon. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you, Angel?
I'm great. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
So first and foremost, to jump right into this interview, can you let us know what inspired you to pursue a career in music?
Wow. So I've been singing and songwriting since I was a child. I used to do it a lot with my mother, specifically writing. She's a poet. And then I was in the church a lot, heard a lot of choir going on. They would put on a show in the church. And I always just thought I wanted to be that person. I wanted to be there and just feel that emotion and share that emotion with people. So I eventually started to do music after a long career in the modeling industry. I realized that my reasonings for getting into modeling were all because I needed to gain confidence to become a singer. So here I am today.
Wow. Now, when it comes to your music, what kind of message do you like to relate through your music? What do you hope your audience gets out of it when they hear Shylon's songs?
Wow. I hope they feel hope. I hope they feel inspired to be their best selves, to work towards ascension. And that just means like letting go of all the things that are not serving your purpose and who you are. I hope they feel loved, and I hope they feel love for others. So I'm glad you asked that because my message is everything. It's all about the message and how people are learning from the stories that I'm telling. Yeah, so I hope they feel really, really good and uplifted. Some people have cried a little bit, and that's okay because it's tears that's going to help with the healing process, I'm assuming. They've shared with me that that's what it's been. So yeah, that's what I hope for.
So inspiring. First of all, I love this Zen aura that I'm getting from you. Like you have such a natural spirit to you that I'm just getting out of this. When it comes to your music, who would you say are some people that inspire you? Who are your musical influences? If you could give us like a top 3 or a top 5.
Top 3. Oh, okay. So India.Arie, definitely probably number 1. Or maybe number 2. And I say that because Whitney Houston played a large role in my life early on before I even knew who India was. I was just slightly discouraged when I saw her downfall, just how things were going in the future. I was just like, well, I don't know if I want to be like that anymore. But I still love her. Whitney Houston was number 1. She was a model, actress, and singer. So then I would even say maybe Donnie McClurkin. Do you know who that is? The gospel singer?
Of course I do.
Yeah, Donnie McClurkin was always played in our household because we were very sheltered. My mom was very intentional about only putting positive and uplifting messages in our minds. So we were only really able to listen to gospel and R&B or neo soul or jazz. So Donnie McClurkin, he had such a beautiful, soothing, angelic voice that I always loved. India.Arie, I would say would be one of my most recent favorite, most inspired by, for people I'm inspired by. Because I had a really dark time in my life and I discovered her music during those times. And it was very uplifting. And I thought, I want to be like that when I grow up. When I become a singer, I want to be able to lift people up in the same way that she's lifting me.
I love your lineup. I feel like it's such a good cultural mix there. They're all different genres and they all serve different purposes, but they all were so inspiring, iconic.
Yes, definitely.
And you also have new music that you released called Glowing. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
I do, yeah. Glowing is all about that. It's to remind people that they're glowing. I was suffering with a little bit of social anxiety. I don't know if you know anything about astrology, the Aquarius. I'm an Aquarius moon. The moon is supposed to be like how you process things deeply, like your true self. People don't know this. A lot of people don't know this, but so the Aquarius is kind of often seen as the alien type of individual. Alien, not in like the way we appear, but we're just different. We just don't go with the in crowd typically, go against the grain, dress odd, think odd, do things oddly. So I was discussing with my husband one day, happily married, that thank you, that I was struggling with social anxiety. People were looking at me and I was just like, babe, why are people always staring at me? I've even felt like people were taking photos of me and I felt like icky. He was like, babe, maybe it's because you're beautiful. Maybe it's because you're nice, you're glowing, you're exuding this energy that they are curious about. And so that's what it is. And I sat and I thought about it and I was like, you know what, you're right. You know, I have the same sentiment toward other people, but he was my strong friend that day for the strong friend. You know what I mean? Like some they say, your strong friend needs a strong friend.
Yes.
He was that for me because usually I'm the person telling everyone else, you're beautiful, regardless of what others say or what you're thinking, girl, please, you know. So I said, I want to share this sentiment with women and men all over the world. So I wrote how it made me feel and told the story and shared it. So that's going. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, such a beautiful backstory. Make sure you guys all tune into that. Stream it. It's on all streaming platforms, correct?
Yes, yes.
Perfect. So you guys have no excuse not to tune in, get those numbers up, all that good stuff. But in addition to being an amazing singer, you are also a great model. So can you briefly talk about your journey in modeling? And did you ever, how did you get to the point that you are in today with your modeling career?
So I want to say I was maybe in the 7th or 8th grade. I got a postcard to go to a modeling school. My cousin Patrice actually sent it to me. She's like the same age as me. And I auditioned and they brought me in. They thought I was cute, I guess. Went to modeling school while I was in high school and they thought I was great. So I graduated and it kind of really just took off right away. I started touring with a national fashion show. So it was like Ebony Fashion Fair. Right.
Yes.
It was like Ebony Fashion Fair, but it was called the Sepia Fashion Revue or sometimes called Hamilton's Chicago Models or something like that. But Sepia Fashion Revue. I traveled with them for 3 seasons, 3 years. And when I came back, I actually had a little bit of a struggle. And I decided that I would leave Texas, where I'm from, and I would go to Chicago, New York, and LA to make a name for myself, which I did. Did some amazing things with like Michael Bublé, Arsenio Hall, and the list really goes on. When I came back and the city here is like, oh, she's on and popping. So let's bring her in. So I signed with the #1 talent agency here in the DFW in the Southwest region, Kim Dawson, and took off from there. Started working with so many major brands all over the world. So
congratulations on all the success.
Thank you.
Now, when it comes to being a singer and a model, how do you manage to balance both?
You know what? It really hasn't been too challenging because the modeling, acting, singing, it's all we create our own schedules. We get to decide. We're entrepreneurs in these both of these spaces. So we get to decide whether we're going to go on this shoot or not, or whether we're going to perform at this venue or not. So the balance has been easy. However, I will say after the pandemic hit, things got really challenging. On the modeling spectrum of things because we couldn't be in close quarters with each other anymore. So they're kind of just, the fire for that kind of just sizzled out. And I began to feel more motivated towards the storytelling and the uplifting and the healing through the music. So I've really kind of done a lot less of the modeling and more of the music. So that makes it even easier of a balance. I'm focusing mostly on the music now.
Mm-hmm. Hey, I ain't mad at that. Everything happens for a reason, right?
It does, yes.
And you recently shared on your Instagram post that growing up, you mentioned how you was really shy and you struggled to embrace your uniqueness as a positive attribute. And you've credited your growth to your modeling. So can you elaborate a little bit about your growth and the things that you have learned throughout that journey?
Ooh, yeah. So, I mean, in the beginning of my modeling career, I was very shy. I used to hide behind my mother anywhere I went, up into an adult. And it was modeling school helped a lot. It really taught me that there's something special about me, despite what others think. I had gone earlier through a phase of, I would call it bullying, harassment. Because I was beautiful, I was glowing, and I didn't know it. So the modeling industry really did a lot of uplifting and encouraging me, reminding me that I'm beautiful. Although there were times, though, that in my mind, because of the rejection, I would think, "Oh, I must not be enough." So there, going to these places thinking I wasn't enough, and then booking gigs, and then learning that I am enough, and then the people inside saying, "Oh, girl, even if you didn't make it, you're still amazing." That was like a muscle that was strengthened in me. That regardless of what others have to say, whether people choose you or not, that I'm enough. So I attribute a lot of my growth to the industry for those reasons, in particular, the individuals that I've met along the way more specifically.
Yes, I'm here for it. So inspirational and motivational all in one. And you also have an upcoming album that you're planning to release called Me Time.
Yes.
Can you share a little bit about that with us?
Yes. So, I wasn't prepared for this one, but that's okay. So Me Time is about just that, it's about finding time for yourself. That's something that I'm coming into realizing is really important, because throughout my life, I've given a lot of myself for applause and for accolades and just for other people to acknowledge me. And that's, coming from a place where I felt like I was acknowledged for the wrong reasons. So I wanted to be acknowledged for the right reasons. So I decided that I would make music this time for myself, specifically for me. I don't know if you were aware of the Spread Love album that was previous to it, but I wrote that album and I had a lot of intentions for others in that. So I thought maybe this time I would do something for myself, and that's what you'll get. Although usually when we listen to music, it says "I am me," so whoever's listening will usually receive it for themselves. So I think there'll be some really positive affirmations that will come through those songs.
Of course, sometimes you have to be selfish when it comes to your music. Every once in a while, like it doesn't hurt. Now, to wrap everything up with so many amazing things that you have done in your career so far, out of everything, what would you say has been the most memorable part of your career so far? What has been your favorite moment or the standout part of your career so far?
I have to sneeze.
Bless you.
Thank you. Most standout part of my career. So when I went to Chicago, that was the first city I went to, and I decided I would venture out and become my own and just figure life out by myself. There was a moment where I was abandoned. I had initially went there on with the idea that I would be working for someone there. And I did start working for them, but they abandoned me while I was there. Like they had paid for the hotel accommodations and travel up until a certain point, but while I was there, they abandoned me. And so I remember having to ask the hotel manager, like, "Hey, something's going on, and I need a little bit more time to stay." And he actually granted me that opportunity.
Wow.
He said, if when you get out, when you go off and make things better, just come back and pay me later. And I did that. But while I was there was a moment where I just felt like the sky had opened up for me, like the world had opened up for me, like the Creator and all the angels had surrounded me and lifted me up, because I'd never been homeless before. I'd never been abandoned in that way before. So I remember just crying out through song and having this very spiritual experience with the Creator. And things started to just pick up. I got a job. I got a new place to stay, like quickly. I never had to sleep on the streets, and I started to just honestly give praise throughout the city. So I was like running around, and I was like dancing and giving high fives to people and hugging people, and just letting people know that like you're enough and everything's gonna be fine, because I was just so grateful. That was actually the beginning of my journey of spreading love through music. So I would say that has been the most powerful moment. The moment that I was abandoned but lifted up and shown that I would be carried.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that. Good things happen to good people, I'm telling you.
Yes, that's what I've heard.
Now, what is next for Shylon? What can our listeners expect to see and hear from you, or at least whatever it is that you are able to disclose for us today?
You're going to see growth from me. And you'll hear it through the music. You'll see more shows, performances. And you'll see me finding my peace. Yeah. I hope you all see a lot more of yourselves through me.
Now, for those who do want to see more of themselves through you, how can they do that? How can they stay up to date with everything that is going on in Shylon's world?
Find me on Instagram. That's the main platform I'm sharing on, or Facebook at Shylon, SHAILAUN. You can also check out my website, www.shylon.com, and I'm on all major platforms.
There you have it. Make sure you guys follow her, stream her music, stay tuned for the upcoming projects that she has ready for you guys. And did we talk about when Me Time is coming out? Is that disclosed yet?
It's not disclosed. I'll just say, give it some time.
Give it some time. So make sure you guys follow. That's even more of a reason for you guys to follow, so you know when it comes out. But before you guys go, make sure you also follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at _all-of-the-above-1. That is how you stay up to date with everything that is going on with our show. We also have a website, so make sure you check that out at www.alloftheabove-podcast.com. That is how you also stay up to date, and you have everything that you need, all of the links, all of the streaming platforms. So there's no excuse not to stay in tune with our show and our amazing interviews such as this one. And last but not least, we are also on YouTube, which you guys are watching this amazing interview on right now. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. That is how you stay up to date with everything that is going on with All of the Above. And last but not least, thank you again so much, Shylon, for talking with me today. It's been such an amazing interview. You are so inspirational and you exude positivity. So I just pray that, you keep flourishing and keep inspiring others and being that voice for the people.
Thank you. And thank you for allowing me to share my voice on your platform. I really appreciate it.
Yes, thank you.
Angel.
And as always, I'm your girl, Angel Marie, and we will see you guys next time.
Wednesdays at 7, Angel Marie and Kevin playing the illest records, bringing us back together. Philly is all season, swimming through any weather, leaving the track bleeding, way we pull it together. We applying my pressure, I am your new professor, teaching this whole semester, pay attention to lessons. I like a chili pepper, fresh out of Louisiana.